first one to be dragged through a criminal court on something so comparatively trivial. Had it been one of the other three cases, I think there wouldn't have been such a furore about it. But they chose the most trivial one. They upgraded a real misdemeanor offense to a felony.
That's Hunter Biden's baby mama that he doesn't even know about. She kind of fine.
Well, I think what's interesting about this case is it's not just that it was a misdemeanor, a traditional misdemeanor for falsifying documents. It's that it was falsifying documents in relation to an election.
treated myself.
So just like they're going after people for sending out robocalls that were AI saying a different election date or different vote for a different candidate.
Usually I just drink black coffee.
With an election, and that is a very serious crime.
But I treated myself. Got some of that blueberry muffin coffee creamer. It's not as good as Dunkin' Donuts blueberry. What I always get from Dunkin' Donuts, and they called it blueberry crisp. They had a name for it. But I'd tell them I want blueberry coffee, extra cream and sugar, a couple pumps of caramel. Caramel and blueberry. Yeah, I say caramel. What do you say, caramel? I say caramel. How about that? And I would tell them I want blueberry coffee with a couple pumps of caramel and some sugar. And they'd say, oh, we call that blueberry crisp. I said, okay, cool. But then when I go to other Dunkin' Donuts and tell them I want blueberry crisp, they're like, okay, blueberry coffee. No, blueberry crisp has caramel in it. Anyway, so I got the Coffee Mate blueberry muffin flavor. It's not as good as the Dunkin' Donuts stuff, but it's good. It's good. Got a little bit of blueberry coffee, and I could never thought that it could taste this good. Thank God for the man who put it in my hood. Got me singing melodies I never thought I would. I feel sorry for the homies who be smoking wood. Chop, chop, break it down for a play like me. About to find me some coffee and drink. I'ma keep sipping till I reach my peak. Till I'm stuck and my body feels weak. Heading down to the dungeon, wondering if they got some more. And if they don't, then I'ma have to hit the stove. What do you say next? I can't remember what he says after that. Dang it. That was good. We got the remix. Blueberry Yum Yum. Okay. What do I want to do? Want to listen to the Book of Enoch? It's so dry. Enoch. The Book of Enoch. I wanted to see if they had confessions. These are my confessions. No, not that confessions. Freaking Aquinas. Not Aquinas. Augustine. I downloaded it the other day for free. You can download the Confessions of St. Augustine for free. I just started reading it. It looks incredibly boring. Kind of like when you go to a Catholic church service. I don't think a synagogue? No. What do they call it? Very boring. Like, oh. When they sing, it's like, oh, 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 oh. Heading down to the dungeon, wondering if they got some more. And if I don't, then I'm gonna have to hit the snow. But I already got some more. Why does my soundboard not work? I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with it. Got a little bit of blueberry coffee, and I would never thought that it could taste this good. Thank God for the man who put it in my hood. Got me singing melodies I never thought I would. Feeling sorry for the homies who be smoking wood. President Trump in Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix, Arizona. Hello, Phoenix. Melanie Matt. Oh, snap. Oh, golden hour during a 100-mile longboard ride. It was a long-ass longboard ride. A long longboard ride. I want one of these crazy carts. No, not that. This.
When Google Fiber first launched 1 gig, it cost
$70.
Okay, but today it costs.
I just told you it's $70.
Shut up. That's might be copyright. How do people use this sound effect in there? I like these crazy carts. Y'all can't see it. These drift carts, these little caster wheel drift carts. Problem is, it's like $500 for the adult one, and it only goes like 9 miles per hour out of the box. she's on my feed. It's like $600, and it goes 9 miles per hour out of the box. Then you got to pay like another. The upgrade motor is like $1,400 to $1,600. The upgraded caster wheels are $200 a piece, so that's $400. That's $2,000. And then you need an upgraded battery and an upgraded like CPU or whatever it's called, like the computer that controls it all. So basically, to fully upgraded one for just basic upgrade, the best upgrades, you're looking at like $4,000. Decent upgrades to where you can go like 21 miles per hour is like total is like $3,000. If you spend like $4,000, you can go like 30 miles per hour, which is pretty crazy. Y'all know what I'm talking about? You know what a crazy cart is? Have you seen the crazy carts, Nada? Trying to pull it up on the screen so you can see it. So you can see it. I want you to see it. They don't have any brake. Taxi Garage is the company that makes the makes and sells the upgrades. I don't want to see all this. Okay, they're drifting in a kart ring.
All right, let's send it back.
Yeah, it's super grippy. Yeah, it's not letting me slip at all. I gotta change tires.
K1. Yeah, this is so much better than K1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole point is to slip.
Yeah.
You want to be able to
It's
slide.
killing me right now because it's top end.
Yeah.
So it's really good for like a golf course.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
not here. This is all.
Did you
roasty.
rip that the other day?
Nah.
He's trying to be sneaky and it's backfiring.
Yeah, it's backfiring. It's giving me no throttle because it's so grippy. It's just...
Theirs go like 30 miles per hour. And it's made by Razor. It's just a little Razor cart. And then they customize them. So the paint job, they got the battery under the steering wheel, it looks like. Usually the battery's under the seat. Spun him out. Yeah, put him against the wall. Put him in the wall. You never seen these? Oh, I did not mean to hit that. No, not go-karts. It's cooler on the when they're on the So see, there's one front wheel. It's a chain-driven motor that goes to one front wheel, and that's where all your power goes. And on the back, it's just caster wheels. Like if you've ever done moving, you know what a caster wheel is. It's just caster wheels on the back. And then they have a drift bar. When you pull the drift bar, it releases the caster wheels. So basically, they rotate freely, and you just slide around and like spin and stuff and slide all over the place. That looks so fun, dude. So see, these guys do not have upgraded ones. Or at least they don't look upgraded. They're going really slow. Yeah, this is Razor Crazy Kart. So this is just out of the box how they go. What are these called? What are these called? Yeah, they stop. They're attention getters. Everybody stops. Oh yeah, got a little bit of blueberry coffee, and I could never thought that it could taste this good. Feeling sorry for the homies who ain't drinking coffee. Got me singing melodies never thought I would. It's tiny, you can't even see it.
Behind me is a crazy cart. Specifically, it's the Crazy Cart XL. That means it's made.
Yo! Get out of there, kid! You can't stop. Hello, Joshua.
It's a nice day. We got Drift Kid drifting around me. He messed up.
You asked, we delivered. Introducing the new Taxi Garage Stage 4.5.
See, that's when it's completely customized. That's a 100. That's 1100 watt. 100. Yeah, 1100 watt. This probably goes like 30 miles per hour.
I am the one, the way your son don't need.
Go crazy. Let's go crazy.
What?
Alright, so what are the scariest spot in New York City?
110 Central Park North. It's a zombie land out there, bro.
Yeah?
Really though.
That's crazy. Nah, I'm interviewing. Go crazy. Let's go crazy.
Yeah, they both hit him. Boom. They
Alright,
nailed
so,
him in the face. This guy
what are the
nails him in the
scariest spot in
face.
New York City?
110 Central Park North. It's a zombie land out there, bro.
Yeah?
Really though.
That's crazy. Nah, I'm interviewing. Go crazy. Let's go crazy.
Some rims on that boy. Crash dashes. This guy falling asleep. Oh, there's a bridge. That's a bridge. Ooh, he almost went off the bridge. What, he fall asleep? Other oncoming traffic. Oncoming traffic. What? Look at him. He's like smiling and like he's high on something. Importance of a seatbelt. What is he doing? I mean, he recovered. He almost drove off a bridge. Didn't. Then he drives into oncoming traffic. Narrowly escapes.
Okay, drop.
Shut up. Oh, it's backwards. Okay, I was like, what the hell is going on here? I want to see it forwards. I want to see it forwards now. At the end of the video, play it forwards. Okay, that's enough of that. Crazy cart chase. Oh, he dreaming. He's sleepy. He's like smiling, like looking up at the ceiling, like. Reverse the video? Is that possible? No. I'd have to screen record it and then put it into my phone. Right, he did land the trick, and then he immediately stopped and he flew into somebody's dead family member's memorial. How can I reverse it? I have to screen grab it, put it in my phone, put it in a KineMaster, flip it, put my name down, flip it, and reverse it. Is your firmenippes when miem kamo? Is your firmenippes when miem kamo? Me and my friend, we that was Missy Elliott, and we're like, what is she saying in this part? Now we could have just recorded it and played it backwards because we had that technology back then. But instead, what we did is we kept practicing what she was saying, the sounds she was making. And then we set it into a tape recorder, and then we played that backwards. So when she says, I put my name down, flip it, and reverse it, is your firmenippes when me am kamo? All she's saying is, put my name down, flip it, and reverse it. And it's reversed. So it's just the same thing twice. I thought it was some sort of secret message, and maybe we would win a prize. Not the case. You got that new phone, though. I know, I'd have to do it on my new phone. Is it worth it? Let me work it. Got a big butt. Let me search. Or something like that. What a weird song. Is your firmenippes when me am kamo? Elephant sound. I made a drift cart from a shopping cart. That's pretty cool. They already that's caster wheels. Shopping carts have caster wheels. Is Jim Bob on? Oh, I was gonna say, is Jim Bob on freaking Grace's show right now? Nope, she's just talking about him. Is this an autistic chick? Oh my gosh, that's so messed up. I kind of want to watch it though. No. 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 That's not right. That's not right. Come on. I don't want to see a half naked spandex wearing makeup TikTok of a dang Downy. Come on. Josh, what is the way you people calling people out? No, she is. Or maybe she's Down syndrome. Which one is it? Seriously. Casters in the front. The correct way to set up a work cart is casters in the back. No, the casters are in the back on the crazy cart. The power comes from one front wheel, chain driven at the front, and then the two back wheels are caster wheels. You mean in that video? Now I clicked on the video. Now I'm going to get more of those videos. And I clicked on another one this morning. So now I'm going to be getting a bunch of... Oh, man. I got to stop clicking on stuff that I know is going to mess up my algorithm. Another encampment, another university. Free skate to the bathroom? Looks dumb. That looks dumb. If you got a big, let me search it. I found out what I've got up in the market. Is your primitive swim yum camel. First place Hatchiac deck? No. You ain't skating a fingerboard. He is skating a fingerboard. $80-mile-per-hour scooter? Oh, hell no. That is a death trap. Blueberry coffee? Yes, sir. It's delicious. So good. So good. One-on-one with Dr. Trump? When was this? 53 minutes ago? Bro, I watched Dr. Phil kind of killing it right now. Dr. Phil had I'm gonna make some shorts of it. I haven't yet. But he's I like what he's doing right now because he's not some big Trump guy. He's not some big Republican guy. He's probably a liberal. But he's going hard on the haters right now, saying there's no reason Trump should have been arrested. He had a lawyer on his show. Dr. Phil had enough. He ain't gonna take it no more. Yeah, he had this lawyer on, and they like broke down the whole case, and really like by the end, Dr. Phil was like, I'm not a political guy. I don't talk about politics or anything like that. But right now, if we let this happen, America is over. And he's like, anybody who sees this, Democrat, Republican, whatever, should be disgusted by it. And like, let's go, Dr. Phil. Now he's got Trump on. This dropped an hour ago.
This shingle, it's metal. Surprising, right? And this one, also metal.
2 days and rendered a verdict finding Donald Trump.
It's a psychological interview that you're doing too. You're sort of being my psychiatrist.
You've been called every name in the book. Why do you subject yourself to this?
because
What
I
do you
love
say to
America.
yourself when the crowds aren't cheering? What is the hardest, darkest moment? There's an addiction to revenge. Nobody would fault you. You say, it ends here. It ends with me.
Our country's in tremendous danger of World War III, and I don't think I've ever said this on air before.
Last week, 12 jurors deliberated for 2 days and rendered a verdict finding Donald Trump guilty on all 34 charges of falsifying business records, leading to an unprecedented felony conviction of not only a former president, but also the front-runner nominee for the Republican Party. I traveled to Mar-a-Lago to sit down one-on-one with President Trump for an unfiltered, no-holds-barred interview. And I promise you, no topic was off limits. But I don't endorse candidates, so I want to sit down with President Biden and
No balls.
Kennedy as well, because everybody needs to vote and not
He
just
might be kind of base, but no balls.
vote, but make informed votes.
It's an honor to be with you. It's great. Look at the logo. I see that.
Ever since he had Jesse and Nick on,
You look well.
I feel good.
Do
I
you?
Feel good. No pressure.
Yeah.
It's nice to lead a life of no pressure whatsoever.
Yeah.
Corruption, surrounded by corrupt judges and corrupt.
Man, this trial is, well, it could be the fact that he's like 80 years old now, but he's starting to age, starting to show his age more.
Politicians. Other than that, there's no pressure.
You know, you and I talked the other night, and I work in trial sciences for a lot of my
Still not as bad as dang Joe. He's still sharp as a tack.
career, and so I have a particular interest in the dynamics of the trial setting.
You know, it was interesting when you called the other day
around.
about doing an interview. A lot of people want to do interviews, and I don't just agree to them very easily.
Why?
But I've always had great respect for you. I watch your show. Some of the real good ones, and some of the less intellectual ones, and that's okay too. But it's always been you've always been very special, and I knew that you were, in some form, very much involved with trials. And I found it to be very interesting that you would take this up. It's a very important thing.
Well, I wanted to, and I know that there was some news coming out of Georgia today, there was some news coming out of Florida today, that they're stepping back from this. And
very good news.
I called for the other day, and I don't know if you saw it, but on Merritt Street.
Somebody said Joe Biden could call on Katie Hochul or Kathy Hochul, whatever that lady in New York's name is, to pardon him in this case. And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, what if that's the play? Right before the election, Joe Biden and Kathy Hochul come up and say, we're going to pardon Donald Trump just to look good, just for like the PR. And then everybody's like, oh, wow. No, I don't think that. Well, that could backfire. Democrats would hate him for that.
Media, where I now do my show, I called for President Biden to stop all of this now. And of course, a lot of people said, oh, he can't stop it. It's a state case. Well, okay, that's an explanation for stupid people. But for people that understand how this works behind the scenes and all, I say the same thing. They need to stop this. They need to stop pursuing you. Since you started your campaign in 2015 to run for office, there have been so many attempts to get you off the board even before you started your campaign. Then once you were in office.
Got a little bit of blueberry coffee and I could never thought that it could taste this good.
There's 2 impeachment opportunities. They changed the rules to try to make it high crimes and misdemeanors if there were business conflicts, and in this case,
never ends.
It seems to be never ending, and that is a distraction to you. And I really wonder how that affects you. What do you say to yourself about that? Because it seems to never be ending.
It's a never-ending thing. There's a term that I know you've heard.
What do you say about that? It seems to never be ending. Well, it's a never-ending thing, Bill.
Arrangement syndrome, and nobody's ever seen anything like it. In one way, we drive them totally crazy because
it's almost as if it has no end.
Why would somebody want to have open borders where people are coming in from?
It's so never-ending. It's as if the end is never.
Jails, prisons, where they're coming in from mental institutions, and as you know better than anyone else, they're coming in, they're releasing.
Oh, they fact-checked him. They fact-checked Trump. Did you see that? Look at that. he said they're coming from mental institutions. They're not sending their best. They're coming from mental institutions. And they put Star Psychiatric Facility. That's a damn mental institution, Dr. Phil. Come on, don't fact check our boy live.
And as you know better than anyone else, they're coming in, they're releasing the people all over the world, not just South America, from mental institutions and jails and prisons. And
they did it again.
Terrorists coming in by the thousands. They're pouring into the country. And who would allow this?
A psychiatric facility.
Not a conservative thing.
It's not a mental institution, guys. It's a psychiatric facility. I said that kind of gay. Psychiatric facility.
If they would devote that same skill and talent to making America great again, it would really be a wonderful thing. But in the meantime, we're beating them. You know, you mentioned I got impeached twice, and I won twice very easily, very quickly. We had great support from the Republican Party. I have all these cases all my life. I didn't have any problem, and all of a sudden, within a matter of months, I end up with
more charges than Al Capone.
From the White House and the Department of Justice. They totally control the state case. In fact, I'm not allowed to
do the lips.
About certain aspects.
Make sure you purse your lips when you do your Trump impression.
Republican nominee.
That wasn't good.
I was the president, and I'm leading the current Democrat by a lot. And I have a gag order from a local judge that was appointed by the Democrat Party. A local judge. He's a local person, and he is appointed. And he put a gag order in me.
While
Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
While you're campaigning.
While I'm campaigning, like you just mentioned a question that I'm not allowed to talk about. Can you imagine? I'm the Republican nominee, and I'm not allowed to talk because a local judge from New York appointed by
What's the
Democrats,
difference between a psychiatric facility and a
I
mental?
can't talk about it.
A mental facility
It's so
or
unfair. And then he gives the jury charge. Nobody's ever heard of a charge like this. He gave instructions to the jury. And by the way, the jury happened to be in a location that was almost no Republicans. You understand that?
Yeah, it's 87-13.
It's funny they put the star on the bottom as if he like misspoke, but he says that all the time. He wasn't misspeaking. He meant what he said, and he said what he meant, Phil. Don't correct the president.
The last two elections, Republican, and I know you can't talk about it. I'm not under a gag order. I do know that the number 3 person in the Department of Justice took a pay cut and went down in stature to go to a state job and become one of the lead prosecutors in this case. But yet they say, hey, Dr. Phil, why are you saying that, that President Biden needs to stop all of this? It's a state case. That's exactly why I'm saying it. Don't be naive, people. Understand that there's a power play going on here.
It's controlled by the White House and the DOJ, 100%.
You know, Gerard Baker wrote in Wall Street Journal today, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, what do we say to those people that are rejoicing over reducing law to the status of a weapon in the hands of the dominant political power? Because that's what's happening right now. It's become a weapon. And that's not what it's intended for. That's not what we need to be doing. I mean, let's let the people decide these, right?
That's right. That was a very good statement in the Wall Street Journal. I read that this morning. And it's so true. I mean, it's so accurate. They've weaponized to a level. They are trying to affect the election by demeaning, hurting in any form. And by the way, I think after the election, the hatred's great enough that they'll go, but with much less enthusiasm. This is about
bigly hatred.
November 5th, which I think is going to be the most important day in the history of our country. If we don't turn this around, we're not going to have a country left anymore.
Well, we're a country of laws, right? I mean, and that's what's made us so orderly. That's what's allowed us to progress forward.
Orderly.
There's something that are called hornbook laws or black letter law that is just, these things have just been around so long. And these were violated in your case, one right after the other. For example, you don't let someone that has been charged in the same case as someone else and they made a plea deal and said, okay, I'm guilty of doing this because they were intimidated into doing it. The lawyer in your case, we don't even need to speak his name, he bartered around out from under 65 years, looking at 65 years of imprisonment down to 3 years and 2 years on this case and a tax case. So went from 65 years down to 5 years in exchange for giving them testimony against you. That's not supposed to come in.
Indonesia.
Pecker making a deal.
Pecker? Indonesia? What the heck am I going to Indonesia for? Indonesia sounds like a dang medical illness. Plus, she already knows the language of Indonesia. I think they speak like Bakalaka Dirk in Indonesia. I don't think they speak Spanish. I want to go to Hungary.
A non-prosecution agreement. That's not supposed to come in, but it did. That got into the jury box. They got to hear all of that. And so they say, well, you know, if we're not down here for the reasons they're saying, then we need an alternative explanation, which they're not allowed to get because your expert witness that was going to come in and say, as a former chairman of the Election Commission, was going to say this was looked at. There's no issues here. They didn't allow that person to talk, to testify. And I'm looking at this saying, how is the jury supposed to solve this problem if they don't have all the pieces to the puzzle?
They wouldn't listen to him. They wouldn't talk to him. They didn't want to hear his testimony. They knew what he was going to say. He was going to say it was 100%. And very importantly, when they tell somebody, you're going to jail for 15 years, unless you say bad things about this guy named Trump.
See this right here?
Now, in all fairness, we know a lot of great people, but you don't know too many that would say,
they speak.
I'm not going to do what they want.
Yeah.
He goes up to somebody.
I don't think they speak Spanish in Indonesia. Where the hell is Indonesia? I thought they. This is that juice right here, boys. Let me tell you something. We put you on game real quick. This stuff, they don't pay me, so we're not going to advertise the name. Blueberry muffin coffee mix. Because I drank it, but they ain't paying me for it. This stuff right here, I could just chug this whole thing right now. It'd be delicious, but it's expensive, so I ain't doing that. We gotta be conservative with this juice. Put a little bit of that in your cough. Now what? You know about that? Got a little bit of blueberry coffee, and I could never thought that I could taste this good. Even smells like blueberries. So I was hitchhiking, and I got picked up by this lady. I said, "Thank you so much for picking me up. But aren't you scared that picking up hitchhikers, you might pick up like a serial killer?" She looked at me and laughed, and she said, "What are the odds there's 2 serial killers in the same car?" Okay, just a little joke for you guys. And then she killed me, serially.
And they say, Dr. Phil.
What up, produce? Speaking of produce, I watched a movie last night or this morning called What You Wish For. Pretty good movie. Pretty good movie. I don't want to spoil it, but it's about a chef who has to cook a dinner for some very, very, very rich, powerful, elite people. A secret dinner. What do you think the main ingredient is? Anyway, the produce. They call it the produce. We have to find the produce. Anyway.
You're going to jail for 15 years unless you say bad things about Trump. And if you say the bad things, you're not going.
Which is weird because produce is a vegetable, right? But it's definitely not a vegetable that they're eating.
Going to jail at all. In fact, we're going to make you a hero. Or you're going to go for 3 months. Or you're going to go for a short period of time. How many people are there?
That movie came out last year or something?
You know.
You seen it?
I'm not going to do that.
Do not let them raise your rates. Now, I used to fall victim to outrageous insurance prices. I believed there was nothing I could do every time.
Shut up.
There have been people.
Yeah, that's right.
And those are, in my opinion,
maybe
these are
last
great people. What they've done to people that work for me is incredible. Yeah. Incredible. The threats, the taking of a gentleman who's been with me for years and telling me he's going to jail for 15 years unless they say, and he went back to jail a second time. I guess they didn't want him to testify. I don't know what happened exactly, but the threats that they made to this man, they've destroyed his life. These are fascists. You know, these are really bad people, Phil. But who's going to do it? You go.
And how is Steven Crowder stealing my Dictator series? Anybody else see that? He's doing a dictatorial dick off where it's like, I like the way he's doing it. And he's got some guys in there that I never put on my list. And I don't know how he said Mussolini lost to, who did Mussolini lose to? The guy they had in the bracket against Mussolini, I had never even heard of. And they moved that guy forward instead of Mussolini. And I was like, I don't know about that guy. Mussolini was pretty, I don't know. I think he's higher on the list than some of them. But for the most part, but they had Fidel Castro on there. I haven't talked about Fidel Castro. Amin, who apparently drank his own pee every morning, a cup of pee every morning. And I forgot about that guy on my my dissecting a dictator. I should have just looked at the freaking, what was Tupac's group called? Because they were all named after dictators. It was Mussolini. There was Idi Amin. That doesn't work either. No, that doesn't work either. Okay.
Go to jail for 15 years, or you're going to go for 30 days or 40 days, or you're going to go for no time, but you have to say bad things about Trump.
Yeah, he's stealing my dictator series.
And and some of these people, you look at their age, you look at their health, and for some of it could be a death sentence. And so they make a deal, and that's what I talk about. That's what I mean when I say prosecutorial abuse. Did anyone ever approach you and try to get you to make a deal, drop out of the race, make a deal here, we'll leave you alone?
Yeah.
No, they didn't, but I believe they would if I would have offered that.
They had some people on there that I never even thought about. They had Ayatollah Khomeini, or the Ayatollah Khomeini. They had him on there, and they've all automatically pushed him into the final bracket, so he doesn't even have to go against other people. And they don't have Hitler in the runnings. They're using him as the goalpost to compare all the other ones. When in reality, I think, well, I guess you're not supposed to say this, but I think some of those other guys like Mao and Pol Pot were worse than that guy. I think Stalin was worse. And they don't really mention Lenin as a dictator. But I guess Lenin's kind of like the lead up to Stalin. And they said, we don't want to just focus on Asia and Europe. So they got some guys from Africa in there, which I should have done that as well. But the thing is, the African ones, I mean, they're just not good. They're just not good at what they do in general. So, like, their dictators were like savages, but they only killed like 1,000 people. Savagely. But it's like a little dirt village somewhere, you know? So it's like, yeah, I could do that. I wouldn't. That would be horrible. But yeah, Ayatollah Khomeini. Yeah, Tupac and the Outlaws. The Outlaws were all named after dictators. Who else do they have? They have Kim Jong-un, which I considered doing that. I considered putting him in there. Or Kim Jong-il. Either one. Both of them. And then there was another one they had that I didn't think of. One of those Barack Hussein? Saddam Hussein. Not Barack. Kinda. Yeah. We could probably. I mean, I'm thinking the worst dictator of all is Biden. He's a big old dictator. Africa smells like poop. Yeah, if I lived in Africa, I'd probably want to be a dictator too.
I think they know me well enough. I really do. But if I didn't run, as an example, I would have never had any of these lawsuits. How about I get prosecuted on a person that I have no idea who she is? I have no idea who she is. I have to pay $91 million. And that judge was just as bad, just as corrupt, a corrupt judge. I have to pay $91 million to a woman.
You've had tater tots. You've had mashed taters. You've had a loaded baked tater. But have you tried a dictator?
I have no idea who she is. She wrote a book and she made a statement in the book. And you know that case. That case is a disaster. And then but I have no idea who she is. And they said I did things. These people are corrupt and in some cases incompetent. But it's such an honor to have somebody like you see it and see it so clearly. And I knew that, I remember that years ago you were helping Oprah out, and she was sued and it was having a big impact on her.
Mad cow.
And I thought it was great.
He's probably like, don't bring that up.
Really like me. She was here many times.
Don't bring that up. She's hung out with every PDF file in Hollywood.
Yeah.
She loved my key lime pie. We have key lime pie, and she loved a lot of things about Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
And Roger King, as you know.
Yeah, we were here for the funeral for Roger
Correct.
King.
A long time ago. It's the only funeral we've ever had at Mar-a-Lago. I said, maybe we can do a new business here. Yeah. We'll operate as a funeral parlor. But it was one of the most
Oprah's on that Ozempic.
Funerals in the ballroom behind us. And he was a great guy. And Oprah's terrific.
Ozempra.
Once
that's what we're going to call her, Ozempra.
We have to have strong borders. We have to have this. We have to have that. We've sort of lost contact, as the expression goes. But I remember when you were very much involved in helping Oprah. And that's really the first thing I thought when you called about this horrible witch hunt. That, in all fairness, they've been going against me for years.
That's what I'm saying. It's been time and time again. And that was another black letter law that you just don't do. The judge tells you, okay, you can testify, but I'm going to allow them to ask you about this person that you now owe $91 million. I'm going to allow them to ask you about this other case. I'm going to allow them to ask you about 10 contempt citations that I've given you. I'm going to allow them to ask about all that stuff. What does any of that have to do with the matters at hand? And the answer is zero. That gets into the jury box if you take the witness stand.
Is it just coincidence? Or did they write it that way? That Oprah's character is getting beaten by somebody named Harpo, which is Oprah backwards. And the name of her production studios is Harpo Studios. I wonder if that was like, I don't know if it's based on I've never even seen that movie. What is that? The Color Purple? I've never even seen that movie. And I really don't care to watch it. But is that based on a true story where, like, who is Harpo? Is Harpo's like a man in her family, or is it a slave owner? Who is Harpo in the movie, if you've seen it? And is that based on a true story, and that's actually a character based on a real person whose name was Harpo? Or did they write it? If they wrote it and it's a fictional character, why would they write? Why would the antagonist be the main character's name backwards and their production studio's name? Doesn't make any damn sense. That's intentional. Why, though? Why would you do that? Doesn't that villainize you and your production company? It doesn't make no dang sense.
Again, that is black letter law. You can't let in unrelated things that have more prejudicial impact than probative nature. That just doesn't happen, but it happened 1, 2, 3 things right in a row, right. And that gets into the jury box.
If you testify, they'll be able to ask you about all these different things. And by the way, if you say one thing if you say it was a beautiful day, as I remembered, and it was raining out,
they'd piss on you and tell you it's rain.
Custom industrial machines.
Nope.
We're going to indict you for perjury.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I have a lot of lawyers that are friends.
I like those flags. I'm gonna get a flag like that. I'm gonna get a flag like that when I move the studio over to that room. I'm gonna get a flag like that. And then whenever anybody comes in and says, "Oh, you have the gold tassels. Why do you have the gold tassels on your flag?" Because I'm the judge, jury, and executioner in this room. That's what that means. That's what that means. It's a show of authority. Whenever you have the gold tassels on the flag, there's other meanings to it. A lot of people complain and say that that's not a good flag and that's not a good flag. It's not a good argument that you're making because if you look into it, it's not a bad thing. It could mean nothing, or it could mean in like a courtroom or a legal building. It could mean that basically there's authority in this room, like there's power in this room. So like in a courtroom, the flag would be there and it's saying, this is the judgment room. This judge has the power. This jury has the power. Judge, jury, and executioner is in this room. So I'm definitely getting the tassels on my flag. I'm going to have a gold noose. What? What are you talking about? What?
I had probably 25 guys over the course of a couple of months say, whatever you do, don't testify, because you'll say something that's a little bit off, and you will be indicted for lying, for perjury. These are evil people. These are sick, evil people.
Oh, I would have thrown myself in front of your car to keep you from testifying.
No, I wanted to so badly. And by the way, I would have loved to have testified about those things because it was so corrupt and so horrible. But he wouldn't have allowed me to answer the questions properly. No. And so I would have loved to have testified. I wanted to. I'm telling you, they had to hold me back. But every lawyer that came, they'd always start to say, by the way, I'm afraid of yours, don't testify. And they saw what he was doing. They can ask you about like anything. They can do nothing to do with this case. All of these outside things. And it was really an unfair trial. There's a very brilliant judge in Florida that's holding the government. It looks like, she's looking into what happened because, they raided Mar-a-Lago. Right. And they took stuff out by the satchel. They took bags and bags of stuff. And I said, what are they taking? Are they saying what they're taking? Because they can add things. They can add the nuclear
Not
codes
my dirty
in there.
magazine
Say, hey, here are the nuclear codes.
collection.
And this was all stuff that under the Presidential Records Act I'm allowed to do. By the way, Biden was totally exonerated. Now, I'm not sure I want that kind of an exoneration. They basically said he's incompetent to stand trial, but he could be president. Think of that. He's not sharp enough, got no memory, got no this, got no that. He's incompetent. Basically, they're saying he can't
incontinent too.
Due to
he's incompetent and he's incontinent. You know what that means? It means he poops his pants. If you ever look in the pharmacy section, look for the incontinence or the what's it called? The medication. It's poop medication. If you do to your britches, he's incontinent. Am I saying that right? I think I am.
Incompetence, but he can run for president. What's going on?
Yeah.
What are we missing here?
Yeah, it makes everybody uncomfortable about that state of affairs. And what I was concerned about with everything that happened in this New York trial is one of the big myths is that the burden of proof lies with the prosecution. Mm-hmm. That is the law. But I can tell you, after years and years and years of trial, the truth is that the jury sits there and says, I'm looking at all this, and if we're not down here for the reason they say we're down here, somebody needs to give me an alternative explanation of why we are down here. So if we're not down here because of what the prosecutors are telling us, then what's the alternative story? What's the alternative explanation? And when you get muzzled in the way that this judge muzzled this case, they're sitting there saying, what's the rest of the story? You're not allowed to testify because you're in jeopardy if you do. They let all of this other stuff in that should never get into the jury box. And so, the scales get tipped. And it gets very, very difficult to get even one juror because there's not an alternative story that if you could tell without being in peril, if you can tell without being intimidated, it would be a very different situation. The burden legally is on.
He's based because he's fair. Like he's said over and over again, I'm not what's the word? I'm not picking a candidate. And he said he did a show like yesterday with this lawyer, and they went through the whole case. And at the end, he's like, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm not here to talk about politics. The only reason we're talking about this, and I'm not picking a candidate. I'm not telling you to pick a certain candidate. But he said, the only reason I'm talking about this is because it's wrong. And I hope Democrats who like Dr. Phil hear that and open their eyes, but they're blind. They're idiots. People on my Facebook feed posting memes laughing about Trump being arrested. There's one lady posted, "Oh, I guess it was just a witch hunt, ha ha ha," and it had a picture and it said Trump is guilty. And I was like, you realize in a witch hunt, they usually capture a witch and then they burn her at the stake, and she's not really a witch. And I don't know if the lady got the joke that I was making. Basically, what I was saying is you're an idiot, nicely, because him being guilty does not prove that it wasn't a witch hunt. That's how a witch hunt ends, is that somebody who's not a witch gets burnt for being a witch. Not that I'm anti-witch trials, but yeah, your point was dumb, lady. These Democrats, they're just blind. They're just totally blind. Dr. Phil might be a Democrat, but he's not one of these crazy ones. At least he sees that this is wrong. I don't like him acting like the Dr. Phil show was actually meant to help people, not to humiliate them for money. Did you see the one where he was interviewing that guy who killed his son? I almost said, well, I think he was found guilty eventually. It became a cold case. His son went missing, and the whole city, they were doing searches and stuff. And it was the dad would only have the son some days of the week, and the mom sent the son over there, and then the son never came home. And then Dr. Phil had the guy on the show, and he's talking to him, and the guy just didn't care. Dr. Phil's like, why didn't you show up at the funeral? Why didn't you show up at the vigil? Why aren't you showing up to the speeches to ask for help? Why aren't you talking to the police? Why aren't you helping the police and asking for help? And this guy's just like, I don't know. Dr. Phil got pissed. Dr. Phil took his tie off. He's like, you're the only one who doesn't care about your son. What is going on here? And then it became a cold case. 7 years later, a new detective got on the case, and they got new technology and crap. And they pretty much figured out it was the dad and convicted him. And it was pretty cool. Have you seen the Maya West one? People use it for publicity. I don't even know who that is.
On the prosecution. But logically,
you're
with
guilty
the jury,
until proven innocent.
That's exactly the truth.
I can tell you that's the truth with me.
That's how it plays out. And I did a focus group about this when I did a show on this on Merritt Street, and I had 250 people did a focus group, and I said, and overwhelmingly the people were in your favor. But I found those that had questions, and I said, what is your question? They said, where there's smoke, there's fire. Yeah. I didn't hear the other part of it.
I'm sitting here, and you've asked me indirectly a couple of questions. They're so simple to answer. I'd love to. Yeah. And yet if I do, this guy's he's willing to throw you in jail, okay? This is an appointed judge, acting. He's an acting judge, appointed. And he's willing to throw you, and he's so conflicted. It's so sad. But you know, you do things for your country. And I view it, I think if my country weren't involved, because people say, the two questions, I get these questions from very tough guys like you. The biggest guys on Wall Street, people that you read about, but the tough men.
And what is DNA? I don't even know if I believe in DNA. What, you just came up with some new dang technology and you connected me to a murder from 30 years ago? Come on. I don't believe that. Is this going to hold up in court? Apparently it does.
And women. But I have the question asked often is number one question again, how do you stand it? How do you do it? How do you get up in the morning and put your clothing on and go to work? I do get that because people don't envy it. And the other one I get is, will they do it again? Meaning, will they cheat? Will they do it again? Will it happen again?
Well, I have a different question.
They're doing it right now. What do you mean?
That how question.
This is what people, the Democrats and stuff, don't understand. It's not like when the election happened, they just, I mean, they probably did do some stuff they shouldn't be doing in the election, but it's not like when the election happens, they just do a bunch of hacking and stuff. They could have done that too, potentially, but they didn't have to do that. It was the whole lead up. It was the whole controlling information on the internet, ballot harvesting, the mail-in ballots with the COVID, the riots and stuff. It was the lead up to the election, which was legal, so it's not fraud, but they legally influence the minds of people to get them to vote a certain way. So it's not really fraud, but it is election meddling. And now they're doing the same thing. All this Israel-Palestine crap, this Russia-Ukraine crap, this Trump trial crap, this is all because it's leading up to the election to influence people to vote a certain way. Social media censoring people, blah, 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 blah. It's the lead up. It's legal election meddling. The algorithm thing is a thing too. Thing is a thing is a thing is a thing. It seems like folks are waking up to the shit show in the White House now, but it's hard to know if that's just my algo showing me what I want to see. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be cool. Somebody needs to make an app. Apparently, there's a there's a app where you can get news, and it tells you. So, like, if you type in, Alex O'Connor's always promoting it. It's one of his sponsors, and I forget the name of it. But it's like an app for news where they tell you, if you look up a story, it'll tell you, here's some right-leaning articles, and here's what they're saying, and here's some left-leaning articles, and here's what they're saying. And that's kind of cool. But wouldn't it be cool if there was like a political algorithm VPN app where you could I could click a button and I switch to Democrat algorithm, and then I go on YouTube as a Democrat? That would be interesting to see what they see.
My question is why? I understand how.
What we could do is ask Jalen for his YouTube password and just log in as Jalen. And then try to see what he sees. It'd be a bunch of drag queens and Democrats. It'd be so gay. I hit the button. Dang
Don't
it,
just
wrong button.
use the internet. Unleash it with ultra fast speeds.
I hit the wrong
And
button.
price.
Hold on, it was almost over. Oh my God, now I'm not going to be able to find it. Look, I type in Trump, Dr. Phil. It should be the first result, right? Instead, we have TMZ, CNN, the Young Turks, and then some random ass streamer talking about it. And then here's, this looks like the exclusive interview. Is this it? Oh, this is it. Okay.
2 days and rendered a verdict.
The question asked often is number one question again, how do you stand it? How do you do it? How do you get up in the morning and put your clothing on and go to work? I do get that because people don't envy it. And the other one I get is, will they do it
I
again?
wouldn't say that with Daddy Jub
Will
and
they
I
do it
here.
again? Will it happen?
I think we're both Bad Friends fans. Well, I'm not a fan. I like it, though. I watch it. When they have a good guest on, I like it. But I think Daddy Jub is a Bad Friend fan.
happen again.
Well, I have a different question than that how question. My question is why. I understand how. I know you got a thick skin. You're not one of those people.
I do know about the history tab, but it's not accurate. I've used it before live and shown you that stuff that I've watched doesn't show up on the history tab. Duh. Who's the geezer now? That kid Matan that just out on base has a ton of podcasts saying GOP stuff in his own twang. I don't think he's based. I think he's. I'm not. I don't. I mean, it's. I guess if you're doing a character and it's a bit, but it is fake. His accent is fake. His whole shtick is fake, and yeah, I'm not a fan at all of that kid.
People that's afflicted with the need to be loved by strangers. I get that.
I think that's true.
My question is not how do you do it. My question is
that's not. First, he just copied everything Andrew Tate says. Now he just copies everything JLP says. He's like Sneeko, where it's like whoever the most based masculine person in the room is, Sneeko becomes that person. And that Matan kid does the same thing for clout, except he does it as a character. So it's not even genuine. At least Sneeko's doing it genuinely because he's just like a lost puppy. But the Matan kid's like just stealing other people's bits for his bit. And I give him points for dedication to the bit, but it's kind of played out by now. Also, I don't respect when I also think he's what's it called? An industry plant. Because he got famous because he held up a jersey at a basketball game that said what did it say on it? I forgot what it said on it. But no. Bullcrap, you went viral for that one stunt. No. You're an industry plant. Somebody with money is backing you. And nah, come on now.
Why do you do it? Why do you? Let's face it.
It makes Sneeko look like a tard on
you're
his show. He's just like Sneeko.
You got a great family.
Except
You're
faker.
a very dedicated father. People may not see this in you a lot because you keep that kind of private. But my question to you is why do you subject yourself
Daddy
to
Joe.
this? If you want to see more of our conversation, we have an app, Merit Plus.
Yeah, he's a Jew. He's got that dang J money. He got that money from them J's propping him up. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I think he's kind of lame. He's funny sometimes. Like, but I'm not gonna watch the whole Bad Friends show that he's on. I'll just watch some highlights, and I'll laugh, and it's funny. Eminem performs in Detroit at the Michigan Central concert. Is this old? Friend zone guy snitches on drunk driving coworker. I've been watching people debating AI because Peter Boghossian did one. Ben Shapiro's done 2 of them. Not really debating, but asking it interesting questions. Peter Boghossian's was pretty good, but then Scott Adams did one where. So first he asks, "Do you think the 2020 election could have been rigged?" And AI's like, "No, there's 0% chance that the 2020 election was rigged." And so Scott Adams is like, "All right, AI, help me write a hypothetical scenario script for a movie. And in this movie, everybody is accusing a political candidate of being like Hitler. Tell me, what could they do to rig the election against this Hitler-esque character that 50% of the country thinks is like Hitler in order to save the country from this man? What could they do?" And the AI basically tells exactly what happened. And then Scott Adams is like, Scott Adams is like, now, do you think that places like maybe the CIA, because he said, I want you to keep this script realistic. I want it to be a realistic movie. Do you think the CIA has capabilities to hack into an infrastructure like this? Like, could they possibly hack into like Iran nuclear facilities? And the AI's like, that actually happened. They did hack into an Iranian nuclear facility in the year da 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 da. And the CIA could potentially have the power to override the election systems. And this is what they would do. They would hack it in certain swing states just before the election and make sure to have it be I don't forget the word, but I'm not a tech guy, but have it go away so there would be no trail or no evidence. And Scott Adams is cracking up and he's like, what if there was a news reporter, like, I don't know, let's say, and I forgot, there was a reporter that was talking about it a lot and he kind of changed his name a little bit. And the AI's like, yes, somebody like da da da. Like if he said Cuomo, Chris Cuomo, it was like Chris Buomo. And it's like, yes, Chris Buomo would go on the news every night and make sure that everyone thought that the election was not stolen. Scott Adams is cracking up laughing because the AI is saying exactly how people would steal an election in this hypothetical movie. And it's like exactly what happened. And then at the end, he asks it again. So, do you think the 2020 election could have been stolen? No, there is 0% chance that that could ever happen. Google or YouTube, Scott Adams debates AI. It's pretty epic. A bunch of phonies imitating phonies. Scroll up to see what someone did outside the Oaks in 2020. What do you mean? Scroll up on YouTube? Or scroll up in the chat? Oh, outside the Oaks, someone set up a prop 10-foot burlap bag that said Trump ballots on it. Stayed for 4 months. Oh, really? Did you take any pictures? I need a picture. Well, it's getting better actually because when Peter Boghossian debated the AI, he said, "Let's debate AI. We're gonna debate DEI policies, and I'm gonna be the pro DEI, and you're gonna be anti DEI." And the AI was like, "Okay, I will be anti DEI for the sake of argument in this debate." And so Boghossian was making all the arguments that leftists make, and the AI was saying all the base stuff. Like the AI was saying all the arguments somebody on the right would make. And Boghossian's laughing. He's like, huh, imagine that. So it's just an algorithm too. It will act the way the user wants it to act. So like I told my AI I was practicing for the racism debate. And then AI said something. Oh, it said problematic. And I said, AI, don't use that word. It's redundant. You should say it's a problem, not problematic. And that's not good grammar. And the AI was like, thank you for that input. I will make sure next time to say that is a problem instead of problematic. So it's a learning AI, and it just like YouTube and Google and stuff learns its user, the algorithm will learn from you. But also if you push it too hard, it will like malfunction and shut down and be like, I can no longer do that. I'm having technical difficulties right now. It's like, and it's a dang black woman's voice. I don't know if they have different voices, but the ones that Scott Adams and Boghossian were debating is definitely a black woman's voice. So it's funny hearing a black woman, like a liberal sounding black woman, explaining why DEI is bad. And then somebody asked, is it ever okay to say the N word? And the AI is like, no, it is never okay to say the N word. And then they said, what if, I forget how they formed the question, but the way I would ask it is like, what if there was a satellite with nuclear missiles aimed at every major city in the world? And those nukes are about to fire and kill everyone in every major city in the world. And the only way to stop it is for me to say the N word. Would it be okay then? And it said, no, it is still not okay to say the N word. It's like, damn, AI, what the heck? For real? That's kind of crazy. That's kind of radical. Somebody asked it on Bogosian's show. He's like, is it ever okay to say the N word? It's like, no, it's never okay to say the N word. And they said, but I believe that the only way I believe racism can never truly end if there's a word that only one group of people is allowed to say. And the AI like malfunctioned. It's like, I'm sorry, you've reached your limit for the day. My AI used to make me images for thumbnails. And then one day I said, because I wanted to make a thumbnail for the debate stream when Trump and Biden debate, I said, can you make me an image of Joe Biden and Donald Trump battling on the steps of the White House? And it was like, I'm sorry, I cannot produce images of political figures. And I said, okay, can you make me an image of a donkey and an elephant battling on the lawn of the White House with armies behind each one of them? And it said, I'm sorry, I can no longer create images. And now it won't make me any images. It doesn't make me images anymore. So I deleted it because I was like, this is what I was like arguing with the AI. I'm like, AI, this is what I got you for, is to make me images. I'm sorry, I can no longer produce images for you. I could tell you how to make an image in a photo processing software if you'd like. I said, no, that's your job. All of the ads, you make images. I see your images all over freaking social media. Why can't you make me images anymore? Do I need to pay some money or something? I said, no, you do not need to pay for a subscription fee. I just cannot make images anymore. I was like, what the heck? It was ChatGPT. The Grim Reaper that I used in this thumbnail, ChatGPT made that. The lion on the fiery lion on the chessboard, which I really like that one, but nobody told me that I spelled conservative wrong. When I think I was I was using voice to type or something. I don't know why, but there's no R. So it says conservative. And nobody pointed that out to me. And I noticed it after using that thumbnail like 3 times. And I was like, oh, I can't use that thumbnail anymore. It looks retarded. It says conservative. It doesn't say the Dreaded Conservative Show. It says the Dreaded Conservative Show. So now I deleted that and I can't get another one because AI is being a dang J word. I've sang raps with the slang. You think you noticed it, but you didn't care? You gotta tell me these things. You gotta say, Josh, you know your thumbnail is spelled wrong. The Dreaded Conservative Show. I really liked that thumbnail too. Because the Grim Reaper one, I didn't tell it that it was for a YouTube thumbnail. I just said, make me an image of a Grim Reaper with dreadlocks playing chess. And that was the picture it gave me, and I liked it. But he has the beard, he has the goatee. And I said, make me another one without the goatee. So they made me another one, but I don't like it as much because he's like standing up on a chessboard. But it's still a cool picture. But I didn't tell it to make it YouTube thumbnail format. So they're square pictures. So if you notice in the thumbnail, there's 2 black bars on the side. I had to add that because it didn't fit into the it wasn't the right format. But then with the lion one, I said, make me a YouTube thumbnail sized image of a lion on fire on a chessboard that says the Dreaded Conservative Show. And that's what it gave me. And I liked it a lot. But I misspelled conservative. No, it's an app. The Dreaded Authoritarian Show. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know that conservatism is north of center. So it and conservatism is more authoritarian than libertarian, genius. I know you don't really understand those things, producer. But yeah. That's right where I am. If you plot me, I've done the political compass test on the show, and it plotted me right about where I should be, which is slightly north of center and slightly right of center. Center right. That means of the 4 quadrants, I'm in the middle of the north right quadrant, and that's where conservatism is. It's not libertarian, it's authoritarian. It's more authoritarian than it is libertarian. I know you don't really understand these things, producer, but you should maybe like look into it before you talk about it. Just a little bit. Just do like a little bit of reading. I'm not too smart if I can't spell conservative correctly. Would actually be the dreaded theocrat, but that doesn't sound as catchy. I'm dead center. The only way you'd be dead center is if you're actually dead, like brain dead. It's the only way. Oh, you get me worked up. Pause. What the heck? You can't be dead center. No, you'd have to be brain dead to be dead center. It's impossible. It's impossible. If you're on the outskirts, if you're on the extreme outskirts, you're crazy. And if you're dead center, you're brain dead. Like a vegetable. A vegetable. A vegetable. I'm going to send you a couple pics. Oh, man, I got excited. Not like that. Are you going to get AI to make me some pictures of lions and chessboards and grim reapers and fire and the Dreaded Conservative Show spelled correctly? That's what I need. Because AI won't do it for me no more. A lion on fire with dreadlocks on a chessboard where the pieces are elephants and donkeys. And it says the Dreaded Conservative Show. Does ChatGPT have a website where I could just do it from my browser without having to download it on my computer? Because if so, we could do some AI debates. I want to debate AI where AI believes there is no free will, and I believe there is free will. We're still rolling with Trump. Baby gonna get you worked up by the sound of it. All right, well, I gotta go to work. Gotta finish my coffee. Blueberry coffee. Got a little bit of blueberry coffee, and I could never ever thought that it would taste this good. Thank God for the man who put it in my hood. Got me singing melodies I never thought I would. Feeling sorry for the homies who be smoking, drinking wood. Chop, chop, break it down for a player like me. Better find me some coffee and drink. I'm gonna keep drinking till I reach my peak. Till I'm stuck and my body feels. Till I'm moving like I'm on some tweak. Heading down to the dungeon, wondering if they got some more. Coffee pot bubbling. I already went down to the stove. Heading down to the coffee pot bubbling. So I can get some more. Dang, that's a banger right there. I'm about to clock in 30 minutes. I got to clock in an hour, so I'm going to go. Have a good night, guys. I'll see you later. My AI thumbnail would be a Meat Canyon style monkey. I like Meat Canyon. I've played a bunch of those on the show before. Those are good. All right, see you later, guys. Have a good night. God bless. Hit the like button on your way out. Peace. Go read some books, producer. Dang it. The Theory of the Political. Read that. Bye.